Hi, and welcome to the show. Those who have been following this series know that it's all about inspirational people and people who encourage us and inspire us to be better. This week, we have major veteran goddess that I bow before, like so many others, Miss Judith Jacobs. When we have a star in our midst, they just, don't need any direction. How are you, darling?
I'm rather fabulous, thank you.
I can see.
I am.
And she did fill me in that she's a bit hot at the moment. She's a bit hot.
Wearing all this
But because of the look, she'll sit here and stew for the next one. But
vanity
she looks fabulous.
Thing.
No shine, as you see, skin flawless. Lovely. How's it been? How's things going? You went on holiday, didn't you?
I was in Gambia, my second home. I call it my spiritual home, Gambia. I love Gambia.
So when did that start for you, Gambia?
3 years ago. There's a guy called Marky B, and we work on the same radio station, or he used to be at the same radio station, Conscious Radio.
Right.
He was on before me. And he was telling me he's going to Gambia and he's taking some DJs with him. I went, oh, you should take me. He went, yeah. But no, you should take me. And then I went on air afterwards, and I went on air and I was going, you must all phone Marky B and tell him, take Judith with him to Gambia. And every week I went on air and I said that, and then he was getting harassed on air. And then he went, okay, Judith, you're coming Gambia. Oh, okay. Thanks. It's so nice of you to change your mind.
So what is it, a setup like one of those holidays abroad with parties and different DJs?
I go there to play music.
Right, okay.
So I go to Gambia and play music, and they think I'm a Don DJ because they love reggae music.
Right.
In Gambia, they know reggae music better than Jamaica know reggae music because the artist goes to Gambia and they've got houses there. There's enough of them that go out there all the time.
Right.
And they sing the lyrics word for word, and it's called Soul in Africa. So when we go out there, the other DJs are playing soul. I have some soul, but it's not my thing. I'm a reggae girl. So when I start playing music, they're all kind of, what? She's a bad DJ. She's a bad DJ. I thought, that's really funny. If you met the real DJ, you wouldn't see that because I'm the only one out there that's really running the reggae music at the time. The Battalion came out last year and this year.
And as a woman, it gives you a little slight edge.
A little edge.
Yeah, a little edge.
I tell you, the Gambians always talking about, hey, DJ. I was like, what?
So when did you start DJing?
I was on another radio station before I was on Conscious. It was called Soul. Soul. It was set up by Emmanuel, who is Smiley Culture's nephew.
Okay.
And he set it up in remembrance for his uncle.
Right.
So he set it up, and there was a whole lot of DJs that was on there, and he asked me, would I do this? And I was like, I don't do
DJ,
that.
yeah.
He said, but you could do it. I said, I don't. And then I was, So then my motto in life now is to do things that frighten me, and it frightened me. And I thought, okay. I spoke to Ernie, Daddy Ernie, and I told him, he said, you could do that. I went, I spoke to DJ Lange, you could do it. And I went, okay. And they said, Jude, you could do this. And because of them, I'd done it with this guy. We'd done it for like 2 years, and then it stopped. And then I went, I like this. So now the people that runs Conscious, I spoke to them, because there was a sound system called Intrepid Sound System. The guy that runs it used to be with Intrepid with my man, and that was my youth days, and I was a box gal. Anyone remembers the sound systems and carrying speaker boxes? And we used to sit in the back of the van. Now, talk about self and safety. Back of the van with these speakers, they're not tied down.
Just...
And everybody's sitting in the speakers chatting away, there. And when I think back now, we could have been crushed to death.
Yeah, but it never happened, so it kind of makes you think this self-help and safety thing is a bit of an alarm.
Yeah.
An unnecessary alarm.
We really did. And my contribution was using wires and wiring up the wires, because I wasn't going to pick up no speaker. So me and my girl would go wire that thing, we're spots gal, we're box gal, yeah.
This is going to be an interview of a million, I'm telling you. Now tell me about the beginnings for you, family. Where did you grow up?
I was born here in England.
Right.
My parents are from Grenada. Both my parents are from Grenada.
Because I could hear the twang sometimes, and I wasn't sure if it was Trini, Grenadian, Guyanese. I wasn't quite sure.
I think my accent verges on all three of them. Because in my house, we weren't allowed to have a Caribbean accent. We had to speak rather like this at home.
Right.
And anytime, when you're in your bedroom, you're like, and your mum, Judith! Now my mother, with her Caribbean accent, Judith, don't talk like that! Don't talk like that!
Not even saying Judith, you know.
No, Judith!
Judith!
I was like, all right, so we're like, and we all wanted to be like, so we had to leave it at the house and talk with us.
And then talk like that.
And then talk like that. So yeah, I was brought up in Finsbury Park.
Okay, North London girl.
North London girl. Loved living in Finsbury Park. Did not understand why my dad used to get upset when I'd come home and say, oh, the cars are driving really slowly down the road. And it was, where was the car? Where's the car? Oh, it was just behind me. And it was really slow. I don't understand why these cars keep driving so slowly that my dad will come out.
Unmarked police cars?
No.
No?
Prostitution on our road.
No, stop it.
Finsbury Park was the bed of prostitution. And I'm this naive. Even right now, I don't notice anything anywhere.
Yeah.
That's another story. So I'm walking around like this, blinkered, and I didn't notice anything. My dad would be like, what? And he'd be putting on his slippers and running down the stairs. What's the matter with him? Why is he getting so upset? Because he literally would have a little fit that they were following his daughter. And what do they think he's going to do? What do they think they're going to do with you? What? Okay.
All right, calm down.
So I didn't know. So I stopped telling my dad when the cars used to follow us down the road because it just gave him a little heart failure. So Finsbury Park, grew up Finsbury Park, loved Finsbury Park.
And where did you go to school?
In Ambler, in Finsbury Park. My primary school was Ambler.
Right.
And my school was like 5 minutes from where we lived. Yeah.
Right.
So school started at 9 and we left home at 9. Because it's round the corner. You think you're going to get there at
on
the same
time.
time.
Always late.
Always late because it's just literally round the corner. And Finsbury Park, the park itself was down the road. And I was having this conversation about, as children, you had your clothing, you had your home clothes.
Absolutely.
You had your school clothes.
Correct.
And your going out clothes.
Correct.
We don't do them things no more. But we don't have to, I suppose.
Well,
I suppose.
And maybe we should bring it back.
Maybe.
Because it was good discipline.
It was. But also because I didn't realise, again, I didn't know I was poor until I was older.
You didn't know you were poor?
I didn't know I was poor. I know we had to have, it's when people say, oh, you know, somewhere to wear our children's, our brothers' clothes. Hand-me-downs. I was like, yeah, well, we did that. I didn't even know what latchkey meant. And they said, you know, when you walk around your key, I was a latchkey. What does that even mean, being a latchkey? My mum wasn't home. That's a latchkey because your parents went in. You had to let yourself.
You were at work. They were at work. Yeah.
Of course, they're earning. They're working their little bottoms off for us. It was 4 children at the time because my baby sister.
I was going to say, how many of your siblings?
5 of us all together. It was 4 of us at the time.
And where were you in the lineup?
I'm the middle.
Okay.
Like the firstborn here.
Okay.
So it's, you know, I haven't got that middle child syndrome.
I was going to say, middle child syndrome.
No, because I was born here, I was firstborn.
Right, okay.
So I was always, in my head...
The first.
And because my older brother and sister was in Grenada.
Right.
And then they came over.
So you really didn't feature them like that. It's like, they're over there, I'm the first, okay.
Didn't even know about them.
All about me.
It was always all about me. I did not know about them, and I remember there was all these young people that was in our house, and it felt like a pick and mix because my auntie was going, look, this is what it seemed like to me. I'm going to have these 2, and somebody said, no, I'm going to have that one. And then we were left with 2 others, and like, nobody wanted you lot, so that's why you have to stay here. Well, those that got to stay here were my brothers and my sisters. But I didn't know my brothers and sisters. I didn't know those were my cousins. They were all brought over from Grenada, and it was literally like a ticket mix, but some of the parents
we'll have those too. I love that one. Yeah.
Yes, they were coming to pick up their children, and I didn't know. I didn't know they were my family. I didn't know. And so I was the boy. Well, it was my dad taught me how to do electrical stuff, this. I was his boy. Right. And then the real boy came, my brother.
Okay, and messed everything up.
Well, you know that didn't work for me.
That was not working for you.
We had a year of total fighting. Me and my
Only
brother,
a year?
But I tell you why it stopped. It stopped because at night time we used to have to
when you murdered him.
Well,
okay.
almost. It was, oh, good. So, Night time we had to make tea for the family. And so me and my brother was making tea, as we always do. And so we had the kettle and the pot of tea. So I said, right, let's do an arm wrestling competition. Because my brother's older than me, but I don't care. No man is going to be better or stronger or faster than me. So, all right. So he's taking me, and I can see he's taking me. So as I'm going down, I'm dragging the tablecloth with me. And
burn up the child.
So I burnt myself.
Oh, yourself? Oh.
And they had to take me to the hospital. And then they beat my brother. My dad beat my brother so badly. I cried for my brother. Because that was just, it was my fault. I done it. I wanted to do the wrestling competition. I dragged the thing on me, but my brother got the blame for it.
Right.
And we sat down and we literally went, we're not going to argue anymore. And we shook hands on it. That was it.
And what age was that?
I was still at primary school, so I'd have been about 10.
Wow.
10, 11, maybe just before primary school, yeah.
So you called a truce at 10 years old?
Yeah, we called a truce because it was horrible. My brother was beaten so horribly. It was horrible. Yeah. And I was like, no, this is our argument. It's nothing to do with you, lot. Don't get involved. This is us. Actually, it's because of you, Dad, treating him like a boy and no longer treating me like a boy. And I was.
Yeah, actually, it's your fault.
It is your fault. It's my dad's fault, actually. Well, so yeah, we made a pact, and that was it. My brother was the best brother that you could ever hope to have. He always had my back. But he had all of our backs, to be fair.
Right.
But he always had my back.
All right, that's nice. When you have a brother that's more like a second father, looking out for you, because that's my relationship with my brother. He's older. I don't know anything about sibling rivalry that I hear people talking about. Yeah. He and I, it's just like, it's always been, I've got a second father.
But how many of you are there?
Only 2.
Oh, I'm 2 boys.
Yeah, 2 boys.
Okay.
That's more than enough. So with all of this, they only want 2. In fact, they wanted to send this one back.
They may not be able
They
to afford any
wanted
more children.
they wanted to send this one back.
Oh, really?
A nightmare. Anyway, we're here to talk about you, darling, not me. So how was school for you? Did you enjoy school?
I loved school.
Thank you. I love when people say they love school.
I loved school. They thought, my parents told me I was intelligent. I believed I was intelligent. The school believed I was intelligent because my parents told me I was intelligent. I told them I'm intelligent.
Exactly.
So I was the top streamer. That was the time of streaming.
Right.
So I was the top. And then when I went to secondary school, because of my primary school, they put me, but they didn't put me in the right group. I was in the group I was grouped with people that became my friends. But my mum was like, what is this? No, this is not right. And we went to school. You know, my daughter's an A-class student. And they were like, oh, we made a mistake.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Who are these people you put my child with?
Exactly. Put me up. I liked it because I didn't have to think very much. It was actually, the work was so easy. You know when you just look, oh yeah, I can do this. It was great. I really felt intelligent then. And then they moved me to the other group.
Which changed the dynamics
now
completely.
I had to start thinking. I had to actually start using my mind and start doing stuff. But it was good for me, and I like the competition. I would always sit with people that was deemed the intelligent ones in my class, and we'd all do the questions and stuff and things. But I go, what did you do? Okay, let's see who's right then. Okay, they got it right, but it's okay. I'll get it right next time.
But it's good that you used a competition as in to inspire you to be better.
Yes.
Because that's always the way, isn't it? You look at the ones that you think are there. You don't look down to follow the ones that are down there. You look up there, because even if you don't reach there, you'll reach a lot higher.
Absolutely.
If you look up there than if you look down there.
Yeah, well, I was never allowed to look down there anywhere. My parents always was so I always did. And because of them, it did make me competitive, and I always looked at the people that I thought were either faster than me, if it's to do with sports, that more intelligent than me, I'd hang out with them. Anything that I think that people are better than me,
and
I hanged with them.
Raise your game.
Yeah, it helped raise my game.
So that streaming was secondary school?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And you left school at what age?
I left because I was doing my A-levels.
Okay. See, bright girl.
Yeah, well, my parents wanted me to go to uni because I was going to be the uni child.
In the family.
Didn't get to boarding school, got to uni. And then it was 17, I had an audition for a series called Angels. And because I was working anyway before Angels, I was doing sharp jobs. Jumping Beanbag was my very first television. I only done telly.
Now let's go back a bit. What was your first job when you left school?
Well,
did you go straight into acting?
I was acting whilst at school.
Right, okay, so when did the acting start for you? How did it start?
11. I was...
Oh, right.
Yes, my secondary
child
school.
Actress.
I was a child actress, actually.
Okay. Still acting.
There was a woman, or a girl, because she was at school, May, and she was going to a place called Anna Shear's. There's drama.
Right, and it's still going today.
Well, in a shadow. I'll explain that a bit later. But so when we started, it was in Essex Road.
Right.
And it was in a block of flats, and they had a hall, and we used to go there. And I went there, and there was a waiting list. It was 6 months a waiting list at that time, which felt like an eternity.
Yeah.
It became 4 years after later on. It was only 6 months at that time. So then I got in, and my dream, I always wanted to act. At primary school, they gave me all the acting roles because I was going to be an actress. And my dad was like, Judith, do you see any black people on telly? I'm going to be on telly. And my mum bought me this book about Hollywood actresses. And it showed you this actress getting up. And it was just a strip along the line. It said this actress had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to be at makeup for 6 o'clock. She finished studio at 11, went to bed and had to start all over the next day. And Mum said, Judith, you don't like getting out of bed. This is what's going to happen. This sounds fantastic. I want to do this. I want to do this. So it didn't work the way my mother thought it was going to work.
It was reversed.
Yes. So I was doing all this stuff. So when I went to secondary school, went to Anna Shear's, had my very first audition for a BBC play for today called Jumping Beanbag. It was originally called Slag Bag, but because it's BBC, Slag Bag was not going to be allowed to be said.
I remember Play for Today.
Play for Today.
That's like in the 70s.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
They were big to be in a Play for Today. And I was a Donny Osmond fan. Yeah. Not a Jackson 5. I mean, really, how cool for your cred is that?
Nothing wrong with a little bit of one bad apple don't spoil the whole. Okay.
That is the Jacksons.
No, it's not. That's the Osmond.
Is that the Osmond?
Do your research, honey. Oh, give me one more chance. Give up on love.
Listen, really? Anyway, I liked the Osmonds.
Yeah, anyway, go on.
I liked the Osmonds, but
Did you like that?
Never compared to the Jacksons.
Of course not.
Anyway, so that was my first job, and she was talking about the Osmonds, and yeah, she had to go pay money. Now, I can't remember what I'd done yesterday or last week, and I can remember this job that I'd done. How many years ago I can remember vaguely the lines that I'd done, because my very, very first professional job that I ever got to do. So I got to do Jumping Beanbag, and that was the days of the GLA. And you had to go down there. It was the South, what's called South Bank. As children, we had to go there to get weighed and measured, and we had to get a chaperone to take us around, and they had to check that you were getting, and you only can work X amount of days in a year because you're a child, and you get your school.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And my school was so wonderful for me. It was a girls' school,
They let me. Gave you the freedom to pursue it, because
but they knew
some schools could be a bit, well, no, we're not giving her the time off, no.
They did do that with some people.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that.
See, she's always been special.
Darling, I would have had to leave school and say, I'm citing the reason this because you're trying to stop me from doing my profession. They didn't do that. They were very good, and they all knew what I wanted to do, and they kept saying, Judith, as much as we can help you, we're going to help you to do what you want to do.
That's lovely, though, that you had the support.
School.
And did you have the support from your family as well?
Yes. My mother was absolutely amazing, because it doesn't sound like a lot of money in these days, but you had to join equity when those are the days of equity being important. So if you weren't in equity, you couldn't work, but you couldn't work unless you were in equity. And before you got your full membership, you had the little red thing, and you had to pay, I think it was like £15 a year, I think it was. That was so much money.
We used to get shillings in those days as payment, so.
And my mother said, okay, if that's going to make you good, we're going to do this for you. And I was like, oh, okay. So she was amazing.
It's nice that they supported you, and as much as they possibly could in their capacity to fulfill.
My mum wanted to be an actress. And when she was at home, she had a home being Grenada. She apparently was offered a role where she had to be watching horses and going, yes, yes, sir. But my dad didn't want her to do it, so she didn't do it.
And it was the time of, that was the era of, well, my husband doesn't want me to do it, so.
She didn't do it. This is in Grenada. And so my mum said, that's not happening to you, you're going to do it. So.
And living a little bit of her dream through you.
Yes. At 17, when I'd got Angels, because I was meant to be the uni child, don't forget. And my dad's going, so you're not going to go to university? You're going to be going and doing this acting thing that you know is not very secure? What people come in? And my mum said, Henry, that's what Judith wants to do, that's what she's going to do. Judith, you want to do that, that's what you're doing.
And she was probably more determined to support you because she wanted to do it, and, you know, she gave it up because of...
So the screening of she did see me on other stuff, she saw me on the Play for Today and stuff, but this is the very first screening of my first episode of Angels that I left school for. My mother died the night before.
No.
She never saw it. She never saw the job I left home for.
How old were you when you did that?
17.
17. And what was the role? In Angels? Because I remember.
Beverly Slater. She was a nurse.
A nurse?
Yeah, I was there for 3 years. 3 is my lucky number. I was there.
Angels. Wow,
yeah.
That's a memory.
And that was a learning process. I wasn't drinking at that time.
Well,
not like now. I stopped drinking at 16, which always sounds very weird. That's right. Yeah. Because I had a fight. I was on my way to go to my drama class. And
trust me, she does drama.
I do drama.
Go on.
And as I'm coming out the flats, I can hear, oh, your sister's having a fight. Your sister. I said, what? And my sister, Jan, she's no longer here. Janice me and Janice was born here. And Elliot and Cynthia was born in Grenada, and Mandy is the baby. Everybody loved Mandy because she wasn't part of the grouping. She was the baby. But Janice is like my blood, my heartbeat.
Yeah, almost like twins.
Well, people used to think she was me because it was almost like twins. Absolutely. So what sort of fight? And when I came to the flat, was a big girl from my flats was trying to fight my sister. And my sister's like, don't mess around my sister. My sister's like what you call Talawa. She's little, but she's one tough cookie. I don't fight. My sister was the one that used to fight all the time. Me, I'm just too pretty. And I came into the flats and I said, oh no, you can't be doing this. So I jumped in. I don't fight. I only fight for my family.
Yeah.
I jumped in, and we're having this fight. And then. But I remember spitting something out of my mouth, and then they got separated, and we went to the house, sat there, and my parents were really proud of me because I was defending my sister, you know, as you do.
No teeth.
So I was sitting there, and then I couldn't think, my mouth felt really weird, there's like blood in my mouth, it really was. Then a brick came through my window saying, you bit off my earlobe, poof. And I went, what? Bit what? So I was like, I couldn't understand what she was talking about. So I went outside to search the floor, and there was this bit of earlobe on the floor, because I bit off her earlobe.
They don't call her Mike Tyson for nothing.
Well, you see, Tyson learned from me.
Lord have mercy.
Do you know what was so sick? I picked up this earlobe.
And gave it back to her, don't tell me.
I put it in my purse. Then I went home because I felt sick. It was just outside the flat, so I came back to my room. And then I poured myself a pint glass of Bacardi, and vodka, and beer. My parents were all sitting there with all their friends, and I poured it all out. And I was drinking. And next thing I remember was waking up in the morning, and my mother bringing me some fried eggs, and me looking at the eggs and thinking, the toilet seat was broken. Mum, the toilet seat, yes, Judith, you did that last night when you went to the toilet, because I obviously was drunk. I wasn't even 15. I was 15 at the time, not 16, 15. And then, and I couldn't eat the egg because the texture of the fried egg reminded me of
the air. So has that put you off eggs for life?
It did for ages. I can now eat it again, but it took about 10 years before I could go eat that again. Then I had to go to court because they took me to court, the family took me to court. And my school was going, because I was a prefect. I was a really...
Exactly. She's a
perfect example.
Head girl.
I was the perfect example of what a child student should be. And when they were saying to me, I said, I stole an apple. in the market. I said, they're taking you to court for stealing an apple. I said, yeah, I would not tell anybody I was in a fight because that's just not, I was not proud of it. It was not a proud moment in my life. So I literally told, only people that knew was my girlfriend Pat and my girlfriend Shirley, my two girls I hanged around in school. They were the only that knew the truth. Everybody else thought I'd stolen an apple, and that's why I was going to court. My dad, Johanna, they were going, you don't have to call me Your Honor, but Johanna, she's a good girl, she's a good girl. She does so well in school, please don't ruin her. And I'm sitting there going, Dad, you're really embarrassing me. All I was like, please, Your Honor, please, I beg you. She's a very good girl. And then my school wrote the most amazing thing about me, because I was the top tertiary student, and when we can see that you're actually, this must have been a really one-off thing, and you're not like that, so you've got a 12-month suspended sanction, and it'll be wiped off your records after that because we know that you're not. Like, yeah, result. It's not like me. I only do it because of my sister. The 2 fights I've had in my life is because of my sister. Because I had to protect her. She's my baby. There's no way I'm having people back up my sister. But I'm pathetic. I'm not a fighter. I am so not a fighter. I've done martial arts to help me get some nerves so that I can fight. Because I'm so pathetic.
Well, that's good. You don't want to be going around the street fighting.
I know, but my friends weren't like me. My friends were ready for a ruck at any moment, whereas I'm like, you know, I'm just going to go to the shop. I know that we're about to have a fight, but I just need to go to the shop. Just 1 moment, 1 minute.
Yeah, I'll be back in a second.
No, it's not finished yet.
The shopping taking a very long time. So you started with Angels.
Yes.
Where did it go from there?
So Angels is what I left school for. Stayed there for 3 years because my magic number, I love number 3. 13 is my favourite number, so 3 is one of them. And then, whilst we were doing Angels, Welcome Home Jacko, Black Theatre Co-op started doing stuff. And the producers were Tony Holland and Julia Smith were the producers of Angels.
Right.
And they came back telling me, oh my God, there's these amazing people doing all this work, and there's these black actors, and they're doing this. It was my friends, Victor Romero Evans, Chris Thomas. They were my brethren. They were talking about my brethren like that. I know them. They're my friends. They were so in awe about the work that they were doing.
Yeah.
So then when I left Angels in 3 years, I then joined Black Theatre Co-op and done my first theatre production. I'd never done theatre before that.
Right.
So 17.
So you're one that went straight into TV.
Straight to TV. So I didn't start.
Because more often than not, it invariably is the other way around.
It
They
is.
like call it treading the boards in theatre, and then you get your TV roles.
Yeah, because it's getting your spirits, isn't it? So when I was doing, so I got my theatre job, and that was, so it was Trevor Leard was directing it.
Oh, okay.
And Trevor went, you're not getting a close-up now, Judith. I went, what the hell does that mean? He said, I can't hear you. Oh, okay, because of course, television's like this.
Yeah.
Theatre's like this.
Absolutely.
So I'm doing all my acting, very intense working. Oh, no, yeah, oh, no. Yeah. Who can hear that? Who can hear that, Judith?
Yeah.
Okay, then fine, I got to project. Let's get back to some projecting.
And as you can see, she's still projecting.
I've learned to project and I have not gone back. Once you start to project, you don't go back. But my first theatre production was with a woman called Pauline Black, Selectors, lead singer. And, oh God, there was a couple of people on there. The guy who done Ben, he went on to do London's Burning. But anyway, whilst we're doing, it was our first night, or maybe our second night, and one of the actresses had decided that one of the actors was just not worthy to be on stage. She made this unilateral decision, this is at Riverside Studios, that she was not coming back out. Starting our play, she's not coming back out because she does think that actor's not very good, so she's not coming out. So I'm standing on the stage, waiting for this woman to come out, because it was a two-handed, we started the play, and she's decided she's not coming out.
So this is opening night, you started to play, audience are there.
Audience is there.
You are standing, now done your bit and waiting to queue for her to...
It must have been like the first half, we've done about a few scenes already, so whilst we're doing the scene, she's decided that he's just not good enough for her to grace her presence with her on stage. So she's not coming back out. So I'm standing there trying to remember her lines, my lines, thinking that I could just make it a monologue. And then I got confused. I couldn't remember what her lines was. And then I got frustrated and I started crying on the stage.
No.
When I marched off the stage now, right, if you don't know, that's the play, isn't it? Because you don't know what's going on. You accept whatever you see.
Yes,
my partner was in the audience and he went, no.
Something's not right here.
Not right here. This is Judith crying. This is not her acting crying. This is her crying. Anyway, then they had to ask, they said, oh, we're going to call an interval now. An interval in the first half, in like 15 minutes, 20 minutes into the first half, we have to call an interval because we had to have an emergency meeting backstage to find out what the fuck was going on. She said, I'm not coming back.
What was going on? That would be cut? Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The bogey is going on. And so she said, oh no, he's just not good enough, But we had to finish the play, so...
Yeah, because audience are out there, paid their money, they're
so we had
here.
to recast, we had to do it in a week, because we had to keep her in for a week and get somebody in to be able to play the part.
What was that play called?
Trojans.
Okay.
Trojans. And, because I've never had any breast, and this is a good bra, but I haven't had any breasts forever. And in the first review we had was a music review, because they came because of Pauline. And they said, oh, Judith looks like she was Barbara Windsor when her, with tits for guns. And I thought, well, I've never had any breasts. That's quite amazing. I actually really liked that review because I tried to insult me, but actually she gave me a compliment. I thought it was great. She's going to be Judith. They're just trying to get at me. That's why they've done the review.
Yeah.
But my first theatre production was a total nightmare.
But it's probably gave you the confidence and thought, well, you know what? It can't get any worse.
Well, it couldn't get any worse. It could not, Barrie, it could not get any worse than that. Standing on stage waiting for an actress to come out.
That doesn't come out because she's decided, no, I'm not coming out. And you're thinking, now how can I make this work? Can I make it a monologue like I'm talking to myself? But I can't remember her lines. So what I'm going to do is burst into tears and run up. Okay.
Basically, that was how I solved the situation.
Well, so from there, it was obviously onwards and upwards. It could only get better.
It could only get better. So I've done a few more productions, Trinity and stuff. And then Humphrey Barkley was the head of LWT, London Weekend Television, came to Blackford to come and ask her to devise something. We had Farouk Dondi and Mustafa Matura. They were the writers.
Okay.
And it was myself and Charlie Hanson was also on it as a producer. So we had myself, Chris Tummins, Victor Romero Evans, my star,
Malcolm Frederick,
most amazing man, Malcolm Frederick,
yeah.
Janet Kay, Shope Shudende, who's now called Fumi, and there was a young Asian girl who was in Angels with me actually. Why can't I remember her name?
And I can't remember her.
I can't remember her name.
I can't remember her, but I remember all the others.
Yes.
And we've had Chris on the show. He's come and told us his story as well,
so
which was great.
Really talented. And we devised that. Now I say we devised it. We were doing lots of...
Now the name is No Problem, of course.
Right, so,
right.
But we were working on lots of different ideas. And then it was Fumi Shope, who played Terry, came in and gave everybody characters. And she said, right, you're called Sensimelia, you're called Bellamy, you're called Toshiba. And then once she gave us our titles and the vague thing about what
started to take shape and
and
go into the characters.
And it was, No Problem was born.
Because Malcolm was Bellamy.
No, Malcolm.
Victor was Bellamy.
Victor was Bellamy. Malcolm was BC.
Chris, BC, that's right. And Chris was Toshiba. Because I always remember it simply because of Chicken Toshiba. When he made the dish, when he was cooking.
Gosh, oh God.
That has stuck in my head as if it was yesterday. Chicken Toshiba.
Chicken Toshiba, I didn't even remember that until you said it.
You remember that now?
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly, that was not a job. That was just going to meet your friends.
And hang out. And laugh and get paid for what you love.
I tell you, like, I'd get up in the morning, go to work, and we had a card game called Speed. And it was had to really be quick. Janet was excellent on it, and me and her used to try to beat each other on it. Then it'd be like, can we come rehearse the scene? What?
Can't you see I'm playing cards?
What is the matter with you?
All right, give me 10 minutes. I'll be there.
What are we there for? To play speed? We come to meet each other, to have play games and cards. It was, I love, people always talk about Real McCoy, but No Problem is my favourite job.
Really?
Because we devised it, because of my brothers and sisters.
Yeah, you created it, yeah.
It was just love. It was just pure love when we were recording.
How long did that series run?
3 years. And only because Janet and I were both pregnant on the last series.
Right.
And I don't know if they would have commissioned another one, who knows, but we were both pregnant. I wasn't allowed to show my pregnancy because we didn't want to show that only 2 black women in the show were both pregnant.
At the same time, yeah.
So Janet was allowed to allow her belly to the show. Mine was covered all the time.
You had to remain a holy nun.
Yeah, nothing like that. But then we had, on our very last episode, we had Aswad with us. And
yeah, I remember that.
It was the best, because Janet was going into labour and we were doing a song. And every time she went, oh, that's a good move. Ooh, ooh, it was her going into labour. And every time she got a new thing because she's in labour, we add it into the song. Honestly, we had a ball doing No Problem.
And that ran from when? I was trying to put a date on it, and I can't remember exactly. Was it end of the 70s, early 80s?
No, it was 80s.
Okay.
It was, Aisha was born 85, so it was just, so it was 82, 83, no, so it must have been, she was born 85, so that's when the last series would have been done. So that's when it was, 85. 85 was the last of it.
Yeah, it was a household name at the weekends.
Do you know, right? I had done Angels before I'd done that. And Angels totally freaked me out. Literally on the bus one day, nobody knows you. The next day, everybody's staring at you, and I had to get off the bus and cry and phone my man. There was no mobiles, I had to open the phone box and phone him and say, hey, Dennis, everybody's staring at me, I'm like, oh, calm down, Jude, what's going on? I don't know. And he went, all right, Jude, how many people do you see on telly on the bus? None. He said, that's why they're staring at you.
Exactly, calm down. It's a good thing, darling.
Anyway, I'm walking to your workplace now. So I was in Finsbury Park and I walked it to Warren Street because there was no way was I getting on a bus again.
For people to stare at you.
And so that was that one. But when we done No Problem, it was our people. It was such a different feel.
All right.
It was international.
The recognition and then, yeah.
But for No Problem, it felt like I'd just come back into the business.
Right.
I'd been in the business for ages. But it was just,
it was
so
fresh
much love. So much love given to
recognition.
us. Yeah. We went to the...
From your own community, I guess, which makes more of the difference.
So beautiful. So we went to the reggae boards with Tony Williams, was used to put on the reggae boards. And I have no word of a lie. This is when I felt like we'd arrived. We were just walking in like this. I walked into the room. The room was like this.
And you're looking behind you going,
me and Victor Jack were going this. Why did we stop talking? Okay. Then we saw women started to come in, because it was the women coming after Victor and Tummins and Malcolm. And they went, okay, guys, can we just put you up to another room? So they had to take us and put us in another room. We sat there going, what about that? Oh my God! Never forget, we've all done stuff. I've just done Angels for 3 years. Did I get that kind of, no. Yeah. We had to sit in there for a while, let people forget that we were there. Then they brought us into a table, let us sit down at the table. And then women started rushing the table. Now, Victor had his then girlfriend with him. This is his girlfriend sitting here. This is Victor sitting here. I mean, all grabbing it. And there's Paul D sitting there going, like, his girlfriend's sitting like, oh, it's all right, I don't exist, it's fine.
Don't mind me.
I've never seen me. None of the men was doing that for us.
Let's be clear.
They're very clear. My man was sitting there I was going to him, well, this is very upsetting, isn't it? Why are they pushing you out the way so that they can ask me?
They just didn't get the memo, did they? They didn't get the memo.
They only rushed to command them. All the girls, that was very funny. That made me feel about when you watch people on the telly, the big major stars, how people react to them.
Yeah.
That's how our community reacted to us at the awards. It was something else.
So No Problem came to an end.
Yeah.
What followed that for you?
Baby, because I was pregnant. and I went out for jobs when I was pregnant, because I was never going to have a child. And then I was pregnant. I thought, okay, let's have a child. And then, so I had an audition. I said, I was due to start this new series that I was wanting in 6 weeks after I gave birth, 6 weeks later. But then the guy who was directing it was replaced. And so the person that replaced him wanted to recast. It was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because there was no way I was going to leave my baby. I didn't think I'd get like that. I didn't think I was going to be all maternal, and I never wanted a child, so I didn't think it was going to be a thing. I just sat.
Well, at least you're brutally honest. Is in your mind you thought, no, I don't want a child, and get in the way, and then you're like, oh, but I made this. It's mine.
She was so beautiful, so cute. She looked like her dad, which is always very upsetting. but I thought, imagine I wanted to leave you at 6 weeks. How could I have left you at 6 weeks? What would you have done at 6 weeks? And I'm talking to her like she knew us. I just thought, no way. So actually, it was a blessing that I didn't get that job.
Right.
I did get the job, but I didn't have the job because a new director came in and wanted to
recast.
Recast and stuff. And then, and I'd done some other stuff, not a lot of stuff, but some stuff. And then Julia Smith and Tony Holland were behind EastEnders. They were the producers of EastEnders. And so they asked me, would I be interested in coming into EastEnders? So I had to think about it for a whole 2 seconds and go, yeah!
As long as 2 seconds?
I think it was a whole 2 seconds. It might have been a second and a half. But it was... That's how I came into EastEnders, because they asked me if I would be interested to be in it.
And what was your role in EastEnders?
Carmel, the health visitor. There was a character called Linda Davison, and she was the punk. And I came there to look after her child initially. And then it sort of spread out.
You and Dr. Leg.
Dr. Leg. Oh, Dr. Leg made a reappearance not too long ago.
Really?
I still watch EastEnders. I love
you still follow?
Yeah, I love it.
So then, how long were you in EastEnders?
My magic number.
That is really your magic number, isn't it? It's followed
3 years in Angels, 3 years in No Problem, 3 years, and I choose to leave after 3 because it's my favourite number. And if I don't leave at 3, I'd have to stay till 7 because that's my next number. So I left at 3.
At 3?
Yeah, left EastEnders after 3 years, and done Brisbane, and then Real McCoy came about.
Now, I've got several favourite scenes actually from Real McCoy.
I was amazed. People always remind me stuff I don't even remember. So let me see if I remember this one. Go ahead.
Mother Church Shoes. Father Cecil G. Father come in the dance. Shame guy. Father comes in the dance, switch on the light. You got on your Mother Church shoes. And what you doing in my Gabichi?
Now, have you been in any dances when you went to wrong school, darling? You would have done it.
Oh no, listen, I've done my fair share of shoe beans, don't you worry.
I've been at dances when that happened. And you know what? Our parents don't care about how there's a shape.
They don't care.
With the rollers in the living head and the scarf and slippers. Not my mother, thank goodness for that. But I've been there, and you're like, no, don't shame your child like that. We're all hiding, because we're thinking our parents might be right behind them.
Absolutely, because you're not supposed to be in there at that age anyway.
At that time as well.
Your father's Cecil G and your mother's church
And you know
shoes.
where we got it from? Because literally that's what we did used to do. My dad did have the Cecil G. And in fact, that was his Cecil G I was wearing on the show. My dad was Mr. Smart man, and like himself. He was 14 good. Yeah, we were. That was the fashion and the style, and that was
the
just
box pleat skirt.
Box pleat skirt, because you had the sticks man. And you remember sticks man?
Of course.
The sticks man, and the girls wore the box pleat.
That's
but
right.
when I realised we were wearing all the Jewish women's clothing. Because I went to Jewish people's shops to be able to buy my clothes I was wearing at the time. But who thought about it? We did. We just spent money on these.
Box pleat skirts, check box pleat skirts, and
the guys,
with it.
And guys used to get their trousers made, because my brother used to always get his trousers made. There was a bit of the high waistband, you'd have the 1 zip or the 3 zips, or the Farah jeans, or Farah trousers. And all this stuff is money stuff, you know. And where are these people getting all this money from? Well, because they were sticks, man.
Exactly. Then you go around full circle, you understand where the sticks man comes in. Yes, I remember the Crocs.
The Crocs.
The Farrah slacks, the Cecil G's, the Roberto Carlo tops
that were like
a gabici.
It was like yes.
Suede on them.
So much style. I mean, our people are so stylish.
But we used to have this very eclectic thing. So I would be in the soul club beforehand, in my skin tight jeans and my kung fu slippers, you know, as you do.
Yes.
Go home, change into my Crocs, my Beaver, my Cecil G, and I'd be in the
the Beaver?
Yeah, Beaver.
Oh my God, the Beaver! Oh my bogey! Yes, that was so expensive, the Beaver.
So expensive. And the Crocs and the ostrich skin shoes.
Oh, and you had to go to
Davis on Edgware Road.
Russell and Bromley.
Russell
and Bromley. My brother introduced me to Russell and Bromley. Thank God I was always earning money. In fact, I was the only one that really had the money. Not my brother, he was a sticks man. But yeah.
Moving right along.
And you had to have your gold tip shoe.
Or the chain of gold across the front.
Yes, and your Blakes on your heel to save your heel, but you make that.
I still do,
Style. Love that.
So Real McCoy, how long did that last? 3 years?
3 years in a row.
And you left that to do what?
I left the Real McCoy, well, it finished.
It came to an end,
It came to an end. And started doing some plays and stuff, but then we met up with the BB crew and we started to do work. So Beverly Michaels, Beverly and I went to Anna Shears together. So
as from far back as
very
then?
far. We've known each other from teenagers, a really long time. And she saw the posse and thought, well, I want the girls' version of the posse. So she phoned some of the girls that she knew, and I was one of those. We met up. We said, all right, I love the idea.
Let's try it.
Let's try it. And so we were writing, producing, directing, and it was the most fun time because I never saw myself as a writer. I came as an actress. You give me a script, I read it, I learn it, I do it. Boom. Writing? Oh no.
Yeah, but you see, the funny thing is with that, you're learning skills all the time. You went in as an actress, but you're reading lines and you're seeing how things are put together, how plays are put together, how scripts are put together. So even though you're just learning the script, you're actually learning, well, that has to fit that way for it to make sense down there.
Yeah.
You're learning the skill of how to write unbeknownst to you.
Well, unbeknownst to you, because I didn't stop to think like that. I was thinking this is very daunting.
Yeah.
But we worked as actors, so we would improvise, record it, improvise, record it, somebody goes away, scripts it, come back, we look at what we've written as a text, work it again, take it away, work it. So we worked as actors on it, and then put it together. Because it was sketch shows as sketches, it made it, but honestly, we done, that very first show we done on a level, and then we got a bit more, because we had no money, so everything was very low budget, and then Theatre Royal Stratford East, because we had, I forget his name, I must remember his name, who was he's no longer there. I can see his face. Everybody's shouting his name to me.
Right, close your eyes, let's see.
I can see his face.
Can you see his face as well, guys? Because I'm kind of getting an image coming through.
It will come back to me. It better come back to me. Anyway, he said, because Joanne Campbell was with us at that time. Joanne Campbell's no longer with us in the world anymore. And he loved Joanne Campbell. And so he brought us all in and gave us a budget that we can do our show, and we've done our show how we visioned it to be, and not the cut version with no money. But
you know, that's the sad thing. A lot of these great projects, you always realize the problem is always the budget, the finance, and a lot of great work sometimes just falls by the wayside because they can't get a budget.
Yes.
If they manage to scrape some pennies together to keep it going, then when it becomes a success, all the big people want to grab it and take it. And I saw that with a film called So Long, which is a new film that's been only out a couple of months. Set in Camden. And literally, this film is amazing. You can see it's low budget. Now everybody, the big names, want to grab it and take it and run with it. And it's like, well, when we needed the money and we were coming to you for help to say this project is great, you weren't really interested.
No.
Now that you've seen the great work we've done without a budget, you want to take it and lay claim to it.
Philip Headley. Philip Headley, artistic director at Theatre Royal Stratford East. Thank you, Jude, for remembering. My brain always gets me worried. But that is exactly why No Problem came about. Yeah. Because we were successful in the theatre houses, because we just weren't represented enough. And so people came out in their droves to support the stuff, because in the 80s there was so much more work going on. People were really putting stuff out. And so that's why they came to Black Theatre Co-op, because they were successful. In the same way that this film has come out, they've done it, thank goodness. And I really have to say I admire the young people, because they don't have the old-fashioned way of getting stuff done. You're not going to give me money? Oh, watch how I'm going to do this. I'm going to do guerrilla warfare on this.
Yeah.
Going outside, I'm going to film it, I'm going to do it with this, and do it
literally.
Like that. And they do their stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm learning from them. We, our BB crew, are learning so much from these young people that are just doing their thing. And
it's absolutely essential, I think, that whatever age group you are, if you want to remain current, you have to stay current. You have to stay up to date with what's going on. And you can't say, well, we used to do it that way in our day. That day's gone. This is the way they do it now. So you have to keep up to scratch with it. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. There's no way you can sit back and go, I'm sorry, that's not how it was done. It's done. My daughter, she's acting, and she introduced me to this whole, you can get jobs offline, there's a thing called Casting Call Pro. There's another one, there's Casting Call Pro you have to pay for, but you get paid jobs from that one. And then there's another one that's not as expensive, but you can still get work. Which one? I'm like, what? I've never heard of these things. So my daughter's educated me.
Yeah. In our day, when I remember it, we had to go to our agent.
That's
and
right.
They would give us a book of the people we had to go and see, and photographers that we had to go and take pictures with.
And you had hard copies of pictures.
Yeah, of hard copies of pictures.
Everything's all online. There's no printed pictures anymore. It's so funny to say, because Dennis he's been with me long enough to know, and he's saying to our daughter, so where are your pictures? She goes, oh, it is. He was going, no, not on your phone. Where are your pictures? So
these are my pictures, but that generation is still looking for hard copy that they can hold. But even though I'm seeing the picture here, it's not the same. I need to.
Where's the hard copy? It's like, no, Dad, this is it. There's no longer. We don't do that anymore.
No. We can print this for you if you want, but really, there's no need.
There's no need. Everything goes online. You just push it out. So it's just new, and you have to stay current.
Yeah.
Really important to stay current, and you have to keep reinventing yourself so that you are part of what's happening now. I was at the Oval House a few weeks ago. They had this.
Oval House, is that in the Oval, the theatre there?
Theatre.
Yeah.
The Oval House Theatre. They asked myself, Paulette Randall, the Doness, and some other women to be on the panel to talk about different, because they get a new building.
Right, really?
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be amazing. So it's from our perspective, from different points, our director, actors, stuff, what would you do with the building? How would it serve you? So it was great. There was this woman on there called Lynette on the panel. Young girl, must be in her 20s.
Wow.
Talking about how she first wrote something, she approached someone, they didn't want it, she had to do all this work. It was about a mixed race girl, she wrote it. I think it ended up at the Acola that her play ended up being.
Lovely little theatre.
Beautiful theatre, really lovely.
In Dalston, is it? Dalston Junction, yeah. Nice theatre.
Then I was at the Bush not too long ago because Mandani, how do you say his name? Madani
has
left.
Oh, is he gone?
He's gone. He's
Right.
at South Bank. He's got a job at South Bank. Oh, no.
Well
Hello.
done.
You know him? Oh.
Yeah, you better get in there.
The new person that's taken over as the artistic director. Not the same little young girl, Lynette.
Really?
I was like this.
Good on you.
You didn't say. She goes, I didn't know at the time. It was down to me. I am so happy. Young, energetic, fresh, and has done the work. She's been out there pushing her stuff, so she's not no naive person who doesn't understand how the world runs. She knows. She's young, but she knows how the world works.
Exactly. And you realize it's not really about age, it's about experience.
It is.
And you could have lived to 60 or 70. It doesn't necessarily mean you've had the same experience that a 30 or 40-year-old has had.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. And her experience was vast when she was talking. And so when I saw it was her, I was jumping up and down. I was like, oh. I only know her from that night, you know. I don't know her from before, but I feel like
the
I've known
energy.
each other for
the
ages.
energy.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what she brings out of the bush.
So when did the fitness come into play?
Oh, okay. So I've always
You
trained.
need to see this figure.
Nah.
This little tight figure going on here. Okay. Tight.
I've always trained. Shut up! I've done martial arts. There was a guy called Ruben Joseph. He's no longer with us in this world, but he was my first Sifu. And he'd done an art called Wei Ling, which was based in Wing Chun, but it was Wei Ling, it was his thing. And I was doing Angels when I was started to train. And then somebody hit me in my mouth, and when I was ready to film, there was, you know what's weird? When you're trying to sound, you go, oh, I done this because I was training, and they go, oh yeah, it's all right, Jude, we understand. No, I really, they thought Dennis had been hitting me. And the more I noticed, the more I was trying to convince them, it sounded...
The more they're going, yes, we believe you,
yes,
Judith.
it was.
Yes, really, it's okay. Another one, okay.
It was. And I can see it in their faces, and the more I can see in their faces, the more desperate I became to show you
It's not that.
Anyway, they decided they're never going to hit me in the face again, because I went and I went, listen guys, you cannot hit me in the face because I'm not going to be defending my...
And you're getting me a reputation for all the wrong reasons.
All the wrong reasons. So I was doing that in Angels, and then I just got the bug. And then I was carried on training myself. And then when I went for patches of... because this business can be beautiful and it can be as awful at the same time.
I always say it's like the tide. Money is like the tide in this industry. Sometimes it comes in and sometimes it goes out.
Oh yeah.
But just wait there, it'll come back in at some point. It does come back in.
Sometimes you have to rope it.
It's just that it seems to go out quicker than it comes in.
Stage, I thought, okay, because it was actually a couple of my girlfriends. It was Marjorie, who was the partner of Ruben, who was my Kung Fu instructor. He said to me, Jude, you like training, why don't you teach fitness?
Yeah.
I said, no, I don't want to do that. I want to just train. I don't want to be standing there teaching. Okay, but you really do like it, so you should think about it. And somebody else said the same thing. I'm like, okay, so I've done some courses and started teaching fitness. And you know what's weird, because as performers, you actually get to perform, don't you?
It's a performance anyway. And 8 more. Follow her, you just sashay around, because you then learn how to teach rather than performing.
Yes.
Because, you know, the older you get, you can stay in the industry forever, but you do less because you're thinking, well, this is my 5th class for the day. This is your 1. And when they're going, oh, you don't do anything.
Oh my God, come here. Boom.
You don't do anything. Yeah, this is your 1 hour, darling. I've been doing this.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And actually, I'm not there to train me.
I'm there to you to train. Exactly.
I got my training. I do my training. Thank you very much.
Trust me, you don't want to train with me.
You don't want to train with me. I do tell them that.
So you teach classes?
I teach classes.
Regular, on a regular basis?
And I'm a freelancer.
Nice.
Because that's how I can go off and do my
your thing, get your little cover done.
Get your little cover in and go about your business. And it's been quite a journey for me, this whole fitness thing, because I didn't know how long I was actually doing it. Until someone said, how long have you been doing it? Oh, no, only a few years. And then I looked at my certificates, I went, okay,
It's maybe
doing it a bit more than a few years.
It's true, because if you're still in the industry and they're saying, any more certificates? And I'm saying, well, listen, I've done everything right up to date. But when I'm looking at some of the old certificates, you're going, that says 1989. And that says 1993. Okay, maybe.
When I see
and some of these people, some of these people weren't even born when you did the first exams. So, the exercise to music.
Exercise to music.
That's right.
I don't think people even do that anymore.
I don't think so.
I think there is a whole course that you end up doing lots of stuff. There's modules. You just instead of doing.
But ours was really the exercise to music was the foundation for everything.
That was the foundation, and then
but
you can.
That's why those freelance instructors level is so high. The in-house instructors, they just teach them one format, whereas us, we learn exercise to music, then you did your step, you did pump, you did everything separately.
We're freelancers, so for us to be employed, we have to make sure that our people that we're teaching are getting the best out of it. Yeah. So we have to work that little bit harder, but that's fine.
So you're a busy girl.
I am a busy girl.
What does this busy girl do to look after herself? Apart from go to Gambia whenever she can.
Well, that's the main thing, go to Gambia. Well,
what's your regular practice to say, keep you calm, keep your equilibrium, just keep you rested and fresh?
Training is one of the things, but actually swimming, I like to go and have a swim.
Nice.
And then sit in the steam room and the sauna, and that's me, my time.
Right.
I love, that to me is the same as when I play music, because it's only about me. That is not about me having to do this for this person or do that for anybody else. This is just me. So when I'm swimming, it's me. I'm just there because it's a new form of freedom for me, swimming.
Right.
And then to sit in the steam room, and we have, I live in Tottenham, so we have a vast majority of people, a vast array of people, I should say, and you hear all these different accents. And I sit in the steam room and
different languages, different accents.
I remember being asked by Paul Medford, if you had one wish and you can't say you want to feed everybody, what would it be? And I couldn't think of it. I came up with something stupid. And when he said he would like to speak every language, and I thought, what a brilliant thing.
Yeah.
Every time I sit in that steam room, I wish I could speak.
Communicate with whoever's in there, or at least understand what they're saying. Yeah.
But my girlfriend, she's born in Eritrea, but she was there before the divide, so she can speak. Well, she was shifted to Sweden, so she can speak Swedish, she can speak English, she can speak Eritrean, she can understand the Ethiopians. She's just, I sit when
a linguist. Yeah.
When we sit in the steam room, I'm going to what they're saying. They're saying blah 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 blah, and then because they don't know where she is, she could be Somali, Eritrean or Ethiopian, she could be any of those stuff. And then they'll start speaking and she'll go to them, and she'll talk back and they go to, oh, she goes, no, I'm Eritrean, but I can understand it because before the split, everybody could speak
the same language, or at least very similar.
Yeah. So that's a big thing. I wish I did start teaching myself Spanish.
Okay.
And I was saying, I wanted to learn Spanish because I know outside of Africa, Brazil has the biggest amount of Africans outside. So I wanted to converse with more Africans, and we know there's so many languages in Africa, because so many different countries. So if I can communicate, and then I thought I'm in Egypt because actually it's Portuguese that they
in Brazil,
speak in Brazil. But I just got to think about Portuguese people. Yeah, I got to think about it. So
let's not go there.
But they can understand each other.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they can.
There was this Portuguese guy in the gym, and there was a Spanish girl, and this Portuguese guy was so gorgeous, and everybody in the gym did this. You're the guy in the gym. They were training. We're going, oh dear, oh he's so lovely. And this girl went, oh, I can talk to him. I said, no, you can't. You're Spanish. She went, he can understand me. And we're going, no, he doesn't. She went, ah. She went up to him and said, and he started talking. And we went,
she got him. You nutcase.
That was my moment of wanting to learn Spanish.
Brilliant. So what are your future endeavours, my girls?
Future endeavours is BB Crew and I, we're still writing, doing stuff. So we're writing some stuff. We're writing some stuff that we want to put for television, but writing for television there's no guarantees for anything.
Yeah.
But you've got to be in it to win it. So that's our motto. So we're doing it. We've got a play that we've given to an amazing lady called Trish Cook, who's a writer, and we started it. We've got so many balls in the basket that we can't possibly keep them all moving. So we have to dedicate to people that we trust and love. Trish Cook, we trust and love her to the bone, and she's
it's good that you have someone that you can trust and love in that situation, because a lot of times it's like you come with your great ideas, next minute they're their ideas.
You're right, actually.
You're thinking, hold on a minute, I never heard back from them, and that script's mine.
I know that's happened a few times. You know what I mean? No, that's happened with big shows. That's happened. But we do, and she's come up. Oh, I'm so. But Trish is in demand because she is so amazing. Yeah. And Theatre Royal Stratford East always use her to do their pantomimes, and she writes every year. She writes the pantomime down there. But she's been given some tenure in some university. Okay. My God, she's written children's books. She's the Donis. Lovely. She's a Donis, and to have Trish with us like this. Great. So that's what we're writing for our future, is to try to be in some sort of control, because this business we have no control. We're normally waiting on the graces of somebody to say, "Yay, you were good enough, you got the part." Yeah. And honestly, people always say to me, I want to be an actor. What is it? And what would you give me as a tip? And I'd say, learn to accept rejection. Because that is the biggest thing in this business. In most things, though, modeling, fashion, acting, singing, as you see in all those competitions, once you're involved in the arts, you have to get that tough skin. You do. You can't think that, okay, they don't like me, so my life's over. It's like, because that's just for that particular thing. Yes. And those particular people. But out there, you know, there are lots of other opportunities. And that classic line is from Meryl Streep. When she first started her career, they said she was ugly, she couldn't act, and she didn't get the first part. But that almost gave her the inspiration to keep going. Yes. That you'd rejected me, but I know I'm better than you're saying I am. Now look at them, they must feel absolute idiots. Good for her, good for her. You have to believe in yourself. First, if you want other people to have confidence in you. Because you will always go through self-doubt, you know, and the imposter syndrome. Yeah. And as I tell you, I had that imposter syndrome not too long ago, but the beauty is being with other women that you're working with, and you can go in. I had a little meltdown session. I had a couple of jobs that I went for that I really wanted, I didn't get. Right. And I say a couple, was more than two. And I came into the meeting, it was me and one of the other ladies in there, and I was going to her, I just feel like I'm not even meant to be in this profession anymore. And she went, what? And then she went into hers, and I was like, she took over my pain. It was now her pain. And then so much so, she ended up crying. I was hugging her. I went, you know, it was about me, right? You realise that. She went, oh, sorry, I've taken over. Yeah. She goes, I've taken over. I said, yeah, you have. But it's all right. It just made me feel better, because you think you're on your own. You're the only one going through, But as you say, that self-confidence, and it's a fine line between conceit and arrogance and self-confidence. They're not the same thing. They're not the same. You have to have that self-belief, but still be humble. Yes. You know, but without self-belief, but you have to have that confidence, even with teaching. Even if you don't know what you're doing, say what you're saying with conviction. Oh yes, you have to. Say it with conviction. Flag it, baby. Flag it till it's real. Yeah. Yeah. But why you have to have that self-belief is because of the rejection. Yeah. And if you don't think that you are actually, you don't think you're the best, but you're good at what you're doing. You're good enough. You're good enough to be doing what you're doing. We've all been through that. And then you get no, and you get another no, and you get your 10th no. Then if you don't think actually, and you know what I did? Because people send stuff on WhatsApp all the time to me, and somebody sent me a sketch from the Real McCoy when I was going through my self-doubt stage, and I went, that's you. What? You're okay, you know, Jude. You're okay. Good. You're okay, man. You can do this job. You can do this job. Yeah. So I thought, okay, great. And at the timing of that, saying it to me, they would never. Well, they always say everything happens for a reason and nothing before time. Right. My darling, thank you so much. It's been a
Your Royal
pleasure.
Highness. Let me have a proper kiss.
Mwah, mwah. What, no tongues?
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet.
Judith, darling, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure for fitting us in. I know you're busy, so we're very appreciative for your company today.
Really lovely.
Guys, if that wasn't inspirational, then I don't know what is. Judith Jacobs with us today on Live Well with Barrie. As usual, if there's anything that resonates with you, please leave us a note, leave us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, see you around. Bye.